Go ahead and talk for like 5 seconds.
Test. Test. Hello, testing.
Great. Well, should we just dive in?
Okay.
Should we just do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Hello everyone.
Hi.
Notice something different? Yeah, I know. It's her. This is my girlfriend, you guys.
Like, you should do like a kiss my hand thing.
Okay. This is my girlfriend.
Hi.
She told me to do that.
Hey.
Hey! Just kidding. I wanted to do that. But no, this is Amy.
Hi.
Say hello, everyone. Or say hello.
Hi, YouTube world.
Yes. Full circle. We had a conversation about this YouTube channel, what?
Last fall.
Like 3 months ago at Blue Bottle in Malibu. We were sitting outside and we had this like full-blown conversation. We weren't even planning it. I wasn't planning the conversation. She wasn't planning the conversation. And we were just talking.
It just happened.
We were just talking about like YouTube, and I felt like God was putting this channel on my heart. And she was so encouraging and so supportive and just so loving. So it's kind of insane now that we're here. Video 5, Valentine's Day is coming up. And what better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than to have my Valentine on the channel?
Aww.
We have been dating officially now for 7.5 months.
Yeah, basically.
7.5 months. But yeah, a huge part of the reason I wanted to bring Amy on the channel, not just because she's amazing and because we're in a relationship, but we actually have a pretty cool story. Amy is one of the smartest, nicest, most hospitable, kind, Christ-like, beautiful inside and out, special, funny, fun, just sweet humans I have ever had the privilege of knowing. So yeah, I could go on and on about how amazing this woman is. I am seriously so blessed. But really, this video, I just wanted to dive into our story and kind of how we met. And it's honestly a pretty wild journey.
It really is.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it. So we actually technically met 4.5 years ago.
So long ago, almost half a decade.
Yeah. Amy and I actually first met back in September 2016 over this dating app called Coffee Meets Bagel. Some of you might know it. It's not one of the bigger ones.
Random name.
Coffee
Meets Bagel? What does that mean? We're getting breakfast?
Was I the coffee in that situation? Were you the bagel?
I don't know. I'd probably be like a latte.
Yeah, I'd probably be like a croissant. Croissant. Oh, another fun fact. She's fluent in French, so bada boom.
That is a thing, yeah.
It is a thing. And she actually used it today to help someone who was French find the Santa Monica Pier. So that was cool. I don't know how we got on that, but
croissant. Oh
croissant.
Yeah, so Coffee Meets Bagel.
So we had a significant amount of conversation on the app, and then we both decided, you're awesome, I'm awesome.
Let's hang.
So we actually set a date and a time and a place.
You did.
I set a date, a time, and a place. I asked her out. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Right?
Yeah, over text.
So? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he asked me out.
Mm-hmm.
We knew where we were going. I had to get on the 405 to go there, which tells me that I really liked him at that time because...
If any of you Californians know, the 405 is...
Well, like LA people, yeah. Yep. Driving from the west side to the valley to meet this guy for the first date, that's a big deal. That's like long distance dating.
Real.
So
she must have been very attractive.
I was very excited about this date.
I was coming from Simi Valley, so we both were kind of like...
That's true.
Taking a hike to get to each other. So I set the date, the time, and the place, right? And it was gonna be in like 4 or 5 days. However, here's the caveat. The weekend before we were supposed to meet up, your boy was going in for some intensive counseling in San Diego for 3 days. And it was the first time I had been to counseling in my life. And if I can say anything about counseling, do it. So, your boy, first night of counseling, realized that I had some junk to work through. And as counseling tends to do, it reveals things that you need to work on. And so I realized after praying and after sitting with myself for a bit, I needed to text Amy and tell her this.
Hey Amy, I feel terrible sending this, but I'm going to have to cancel our coffee date on Wednesday. I won't get into the details, but I'm just not in a place to be doing that right now. It was foolish for me to be on Coffee Meets Bagel in the first place, and it was really poor leadership on my part to take it to this point with you. It literally, and I mean this, has nothing to do with you. You seem super sweet, smart, and generally awesome. I just can't get myself to something like this at the moment. Who knows? Maybe in a month or two, but I'm really feeling led to step back from that for a season. That being said, not that you would do this, but I don't want you to feel like you have to wait on me or a future unknown date. If it happens, awesome. But no hard feelings if it doesn't. Sorry again for it getting to this point. Have an awesome week, and I hope your test goes well. Thanks.
So I was definitely disappointed, but I feel like a lot of guys don't have the emotional maturity to say something like that. So I appreciated it. I would rather you say that before the date than we go out on a few dates and then, he has commitment issues or he decides he's not ready, in an emotional place to be dating. It's so important to wrestle with God through those things. And so I'm really glad that you did.
Really quick, rookie mistake. I'm sorry, you guys. I have the reflection of the light in the computer screen. I'm going to change that right now.
So I was really glad he said something, and this is how I responded.
Hey Chad, thanks for letting me know, and please don't feel bad at all. I really appreciate your honesty and totally understand. You should do what you feel called to do, and props to you for having the courage to walk in that. As it turns out, I'm figuring out some stuff on my end. There's a small chance I might need to move for work, so it's probably for the best for both of us anyway right now. Tell you what, if you feel after a while you want to grab coffee, let me know. And if not, no hard feelings. God's plans and his timing are always right.
So I get that text, and it made it even harder for me to say no to this girl because I was like, what? She responded so graciously, first of all. Like, there's so many different ways she could have responded, but she responded in the best way. And not only that, she ends the text with God's timing is perfect. Which is like, we've talked about this quite a few times. Like, just the fact that she ended our communication at that time with that phrase.
It's so funny.
Is hilarious.
So after that happens,
yeah,
he never texts me ever again, which is good.
Sounds so mean.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't.
Which is good because I ended up moving back to DC in January.
And when she says back to DC, you want to explain just really briefly where you were prior to that?
So I had been living in DC. I moved back to LA for the short period where I met him, and then I got an amazing job and ended up going back to DC for this job. So even if we had been dating and we had started dating then, it would have turned into long distance, which is doable, but like not fun.
Not what either of us really wanted.
No.
Wanted at the time or want now. So
yeah, and it would have been long distance for like a few years because I got the job and went to grad school. So honestly, it was the best timing because I wasn't probably as mature as I am now, and I had no idea that God had all of these things in store, including going to school that year. So
we meet on this app, and then days before we're supposed to actually meet up in person, we end up not doing it, and then we don't talk for 4.5 years.
I can't believe you never texted me after that.
I know.
Like, dang.
Oh no. Called out. I was working through stuff. Let's just say that. That in and of itself, that's kind of crazy, right? Now, you're probably wondering, wait, but you guys are sitting next to each other. You're in LA, so you obviously met again. So what happened? And I didn't text her.
Fast forward to 2020. It is the height of the COVID pandemic. The world, it's apocalyptic. Everything is chaotic. And after waiting for a few months, I was living in DC still, and my family was in LA, and I really missed them, and I just kept trying to find a way that maybe I could, if it was safe, fly back to LA and spend some time with them over the summer. And finally in June, we decided it was safe enough to fly, and So we came up with this whole plan and I flew back to LA. And the funny part is, I was not expecting to go anywhere. I was not expecting to see anyone because I was trying to be extra safe. And so I literally flew home with, which is crazy, a carry-on with only leggings and yoga pants. And that was it. Like, no jeans, no real clothes, no cute summer dresses, just leggings, with the intention of, like, you know, there's a stay-at-home order. So I was like, I'm just gonna probably go home for 2 weeks. I'm gonna quarantine, so I don't need clothes for quarantine, and then celebrate my dad's birthday, and then I'm gonna fly back to DC. And it was kind of like an in and out kind of thing. Long story short, I go home and it's really nice, and I decide to stay a little bit longer. And one day I'm meeting up with a friend, socially distanced, and we're talking about dating, and she's telling me about dating in San Francisco, where she had been living, you know, before the pandemic. And I was talking about dating in DC. Both of us were single. And she's telling me that she got back on the Bumble app and she was online dating. And
Shout out Bumble!
Shout out Bumble. And I was like, oh, we were just bored, and we're like, well, you know, I wonder what guys are like in LA. And so I wasn't planning on dating anyone. I was, again, planning on like flying back in a week and week or two. And so we just went on, we were just curious. And then I saw Chad. And then the funny thing is, I reached out to him. I sent him a DM message, and I was like,
just really quick, so on Bumble, if you don't know, the girl has to initiate first. It's actually kind of nice because it protects the girl from getting like unsolicited messages and all that stuff. Weird guys, yeah. So that's why she reached out to me first.
Yeah. So I see Chad, and I was like, oh, this guy is really cute. And then I was like, wow. And I was like, wow, he looks really familiar. This is crazy. And I couldn't really place like where I had seen him before. And I thought, you know, maybe it's from church or something. And so I just said like, hey, like, do you know of any good churches in LA?
That was her first question. So the first thing she led with was, hey, do you know of any good churches in LA? Which is a great way to start a conversation, by the way.
It's a great way to start a conversation. Shout out ladies who are single. But it's also so funny because it was totally a setup question, because I have a great church. Shout out Vintage LA. Love you guys. And didn't need a church. But I kind of wanted to see if maybe I had met him like through church, maybe through some of my Christian girlfriends or something. So I was kind of like fishing around.
Smart.
I just wanted to know the real stuff. So real talk.
Real talk.
Yeah, what did you think about that?
No, yeah, I saw that question. I was like, oh, dang. This girl's not messing around. She's getting right into the trenches, just asking me straight up. And I really did appreciate it, because I am not one for small talk. So the fact that was like literally the first question out of the gate, it wasn't like, hey, how are you? Or, oh, like, you're cute. Like, which, you know, that would have been fine too. But literally the first question she asked me was, hey, do you know of any good churches? I just thought it was such a wholesome question.
I also asked him kind of what community looked like for him and his church. Was he involved in a Bible study? Like, does he have friends there?
Valid. Ladies, take note. So really quickly on my side.
Yeah, what's your side?
What do you mean?
I want to hear.
Well, my side was, I wasn't like expecting to meet anyone amazing like on Bumble or dating apps in general. I'd been on dating apps in the past. Obviously, we met initially back in 2016 on a dating app. But yeah, I was just kind of going on a whim. And literally the first day that I'm on Bumble, the first person I match with is this one right here. The crazy part was, I had the same reaction that you did. I was like, wait, this girl looks familiar. Like, why does she look familiar? And I didn't know, because, you know, it had been 4+ years.
You also know so many people in LA because you grew up here.
Yeah.
You've been to multiple churches. Like, you just know so many people.
And we didn't meet up in person the first time, so it's not like we had already had that interaction. It was just purely like online or whatever.
And since it had been 4 years, we actually looked older. Like, we looked different.
Yeah,
the
we
photos
looked
were different.
So it didn't really hit either of us initially. But then I got her number, as you should. And I put the digits in my phone, and boom, her name pops up, and then all of our old text from 2016 pops up.
So crazy.
Normally, I'm pretty good at like deleting people from my phone, contacts or whatever, just kind of cleaning out my phone, and even like text messages, you know, like sometimes like you have that feature where I think it's after like a year or something, you can enable it to automatically delete messages that are older than a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I didn't have that on. And so the texts that popped up were the ones that we showed you earlier. And then I see the God's perfect timing part of the text. And I'm just like,
That's funny.
What?
That's very funny.
Wait, this is that girl.
That girl.
That, well, no, this is like the girl that I like had to say no to back in 2016 because of counseling. It's true.
That's horrible.
This is not horrible. It's just what happened.
That's what it is.
And so,
Oh my gosh. So then he sends me this long message. It's like, hey, I have your number, hi. And then he was like, so I saw, this is kind of crazy, but like, we can just show them the message here. I think he was like a little concerned that I wasn't gonna want to go out on a date.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, really? Because he was like, oh, like, I don't know how you were gonna feel about it. And for me, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of like even better because now I know that he's probably worked through these things and I'm like back in LA again, and you know, I feel like it's time for a first date.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. I set a date, I set a time, I set a place. Except this time, we actually met up because we're here.
Because we're here.
Right now.
So you want to tell them about our first date?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right, you guys, Amy has no idea that I'm filming this part of the video, but I just wanted to take this moment to say happy Valentine's Day, Amy. I love you so much. You are the most incredible human I've ever met, and you have made my life so much richer. And I just adore you. I love you. Stay tuned for next week, part 2, talking about our first date. That's all. Bye.